Bartenders of Reddit. What is the strangest conversation you've ever overheard because people assume sound doesn't travel over the bar? Even though we were busy, I clearly heard a woman say to her friend, "Hey look. The bartender's really cute." Friend, "No he's not." Response, "Oh yeah. You're right." I've bartended but my favorite conversation was overheard while I was on the other side of the bar. Look, all I'm saying is Grand Theft Auto severely ruined our generation's perception of how many police helicopters exist. Sounded like they were getting really heated over the matter. Haha. Lots and lots of cheaters. It's weird that serial cheaters take their girls to the same spot. Work in a downtown hotel bar right across from our convention center. I've heard way too many negotiations between businessmen and escorts. Last one I heard involved the guy asking the lady how much extra she would charge to let his friend watch. She said it was $200 to watch. $500 if he joins in. I bartended at a country club. And there was this one group of tennis ladies that would always sit at the bar and get absolutely poop-faced on weeknights at our wine nights. They took a liking to our main bartender and kept calling him exotic. He's Mexican. They would say how love his beard. Would talk about their fav, not tennis related, positions. How they kept their nether regions tidy. Slip him their numbers. How poop their husbands were. Etc. Gave me death glares every time I'd be bartending bar backing with him lol. Had a husband and wife who were by far the most rude people I've ever encountered. Talking with a traveling businessman. By the end of the night the businessman was propositioning the woman to go back to his hotel room for some money. The husband responded for $500. 00 you can let him have anal. I heard some chick say, and the worst part about it is that lucky bastard got a whole gram of crystal out it for free. On Valentine's Day this year, we had a guest who accepted a FaceTime from his girlfriend while his side chick was with him at the bar. He angled the phone so his girlfriend wouldn't see the girl. But it was so obvious. Caveat, they knew I heard them as they were sitting at the bar and I was the bartender. 3 people come in together. 2 guys and a girl. The bar was set up with mirrors on 2 sides and a walkway between them. One of the fellows asked me why he couldn't see himself in the mirror when he was sitting directly in front of the walkway. I gave him one of those side-eyed glances. Thinking to myself, does he really want me to answer this question? He kept looking at me questioningly. So I finally told him, "There is no mirror there. That is a walkway." His friends burst out laughing and told me this guy was a med student at Duke. I walked away to get my laugh in. Randomly overheard 2 middle-aged women. As a woman ages, she can choose between her face or her asshole. But she can choose both. I have no idea. I hated myself until I discovered masturbation. 2 businessmen having after-work drinks on a Friday, where the conversation built up to one of the sweetest sentiments I've heard. At first the usual them tell ya, "You're a good person. I love you man." Later on, still fairly basic, "Frick the wives. Hey. You and me. We buy motorcycles to finally this gym. If a tornado were to blow you away, I would fly after you. You won't come home with me because I have a stinky pussy." Sob middle-aged woman on a first date at like 7 o'clock on a Wednesday. The guy was planning on going home with her until that, I guess. You think they have those straws for sucking drinks in your butt here? Guy, I think I'm going to need a Coke chaser for this one. Girl. Presumably so, we already did all the Coke. Guy, Coca-Cola. You idiot, not even the most memorable. Just the most recent. For sure. A real snapshot into their relationship. I keep asking him to shoot it on my face. It's good for my skin. But he refuses. He says he doesn't want to disrespect me. But I'm literally begging. I was washing glasses right in front of these 2 girls at my bar. It wasn't even like I was far away across the bar. These three middle-aged women, alone at the bar, discussing in excruciating detail their sexual fantasies, which seemed to include sucking off a younger man. I was 22 at the time. They obviously knew I could hear them, but it was so awkward. I stood there cutting the hell out of lemons and limes. A woman at a corporate event was explaining to three male co-workers how she loves the thrill attained from coke being snorted off her ass. Was visiting my mom at work once, she tends bar, and heard her making conversation across the bar with a patron. Suddenly, over the music, I hear the guy slam his fist onto the bar and yell, "You are factually wrong." He immediately faceplanted on the bar, and his buddy had to carry him out of there. My mom was just commenting on the fact that the song that was playing was country. Once this older couple, 55-ish, were talking about their bedroom problems. The guy clearly had impotence issues and the lady kept complaining that she was feeling frustrated because he was frustrated. And Viagra wasn't really helping. Or at least not helping enough. Let's just say that other people around them weren't as comfortable as them about the conversation. I work at a wine bar. A couple is sitting there and the girl basically yells at the guy, "Stop staring at my calf." People are starting to think we're weird. I just kept polishing glasses and walked away. I once listened to three people have an in-depth discussion about how they were going to kill the local vampire and the steps to take to protect themselves from the coven that said vampire is surely from. My favorite though, what a heated debate over whether the first Robin would be a crime fighter if Batman hadn't picked him up and trained him. Was at a bar with my friend and all we heard was, "Yeah, he pissed me off so I ran him over." Still no idea what happened, but I didn't want to inquire for obvious reasons. You've never had the poop fricked out of you by a guy like me. I once heard a guy tell his buddy, "It's fun. It's like laser tag but with real guns." That was 20 years ago and to this day kick myself for not getting the whole story. Three girls were talking about some guy one of them was hooking up with. Apparently the night before, she'd puked all over his pee-pee. Still boned. Got all the details I never wanted. This guy was going through a divorce and his buddy was consoling him. He kept saying he'd never find someone as kinky as her. His buddy tried to tell him plenty of people are kinky. To which he replies, "You don't get it, dude. She used to blow our dog while we fricked." Had someone yell "RIP Olivia Newton-John" and I interjected that she wasn't dead. Big mistake. Drunk idiot got on one of those drunk loops about how I was wrong until we closed 20 minutes later. I even showed him on my phone that she wasn't dead and he said, "You can Google anything." Edit. For those speculating what my response was should have been, I just kept saying "You're allowed to be wrong," as he kept on about it until I locked the door. A customer is on the phone in the middle of the bar. Not too crowded but a long bar. Guy couldn't have been more than 25. I go to help someone at the end of the bar and on my way back I overhear, "No. I don't care. She's my sister. She is 13 and there is no reason she should be doing cocaine." At all gave him a few drinks on the house that night. Working a wedding. He was the uncle of the groom. Just got out of prison the week prior. Think he was in for 20 years or so. He was a pilot that smuggled cocaine for a Colombian cartel. Went by the name Big Daddy. Didn't believe him. Showed us a tattoo on his right shoulder that said Big Daddy. Followed by pics and a whole bunch of stories. No one knew he was invited. Let's just say he tipped very well. I worked in a bar in a truck stop at Damp. We got lots of solo men. Guy on bus still says the government can track our every move. Now they are putting chips in newborns right at the hospital. The trucker next to him who he just met shakes his head and says, "Yeah, I know." Both were serious as could be and talked with each other about how the world is messed up. It was the second trucker's response that got me. These siblings, aged 50-60s, Arguing over there, not even dead and in fact present at the table, mother's will and who gets what. It ended in a heated argument and the son speeding off. A woman was planning her dog's birthday party and was debating which dogs to invite since some of the dogs didn't get along with her dog. One time I walked out to the patio to have a smoke break into 3 people all talking very drunkenly but also very seriously about theoretical physics. Edit, if anyone is worried, it was them. It happened in Dayton, Ohio. I will tell you the strangest thing that's happened to me. I cut someone off because they were pissed. That person returned hours later while we were closing. I said, sorry mate, you're not getting a drink. I've already cut you off. Oh, is that right? Yeah, it is. Well then, and he proceeds to pull out a cooked fillet of chicken from his pocket and puts it on the bar and leaves without saying another word. Dumbfounded, me and my mate carefully pick up the cooked chicken fillet. It was cold. So this lunatic has gone home and cooked a chicken fillet, then put it into his fridge on the intention of later placing it onto our bathtub as some sort of horse head in the bed kind of revenge. We still have no bloody idea what he was doing. Not me, as I'm a cook, but a bartender I worked with and was good friends with overheard a regular that was a businessman who traveled to China, often bragging about getting underage hookers while there. Made sure to tell everyone who knew him about it. I once heard a guy talking to his buddy about how he likes to have hanky-panky with both a female and male at the same time and likes to lick up the after effects of the male orgasm off of her. Everyone's got their preferences, but that was not something I expected to hear. Walking by a large party, I caught the tail end of this story. So it's me and Javier in the backseat doing lines off this bitch's ass. Right, double quotation mark. I overheard a guy telling his friend that he was going to have hanky-panky with that bartender, pointing to me. He proceeded to say, she might not be there, but I am still going to have hanky-panky with her. Edit 1, holy buckets guys. Thanks for the gold. Edit 2, and no edit 3, for those of you who don't get it. He was saying he's going to party with the Palm sisters. Close his eyes and think of me. Are you telling me that I don't have to yell my order to bartenders in loud places? I had 2 people discussing if gimp suits were sexy or not. The minute I cleared my throat in mid-sentence, they switched to talking about the whiskey they were drinking. Bartender in Lodo and Denver. The strangest disturbing thing I have ever overheard was these 2 guys with this girl. The girl goes to the bathroom and I overheard the 2 guys talking about who is going to hook up with this girl. A pretty normal conversation, but then they started talking about how they were going to get this girl super wasted and take advantage of her. They started talking about how both of them might get some from this girl once she gets wasted. It was a pretty disturbing conversation at this point. So when the girl comes back from the bathroom, they all close out their tabs to head to another bar. So I tell the girl something is wrong with her card and to step to the corner of the bar, where the register is, and begin to tell her what I overheard. She was shocked and said she appreciated it. She thanked me and called an Uber and didn't go to any other bar with these guys. Don't know what she told the guys, but they were confused and kind of pissed. When she left, they were trying to figure out what went wrong. Public service announcement: if you start talking about sexually abusing girls in front of a bartender, we will step in and do the right thing. Edit, thanks for the silver. Edit, thanks for the gold. First one. What happens a lot while working in bars is that you overhear small snippets of conversation that sound really weird taken out of context. Stuff like, the best way to steal eggs is to pretend that they are something else. The dogs wouldn't stand a chance against Bruce Springsteen in his prime. I don't know if she can swim, but she bought sandals in the 90s. I usually entertain myself making up stories about these conversations. Edit, holy frick. This blew up. Went to sleep and woke up to this. Popped my gold cherry while sleeping. You sneaky bastards. Thanks tons. A girl was telling her friend that she likes the curve of her boyfriend's pee-pee and when he does her from behind and grabs her boobs. It's the best thing ever. There were 2 of maybe 5 people in the whole bar and she got quiet when I re-entered the bar from the kitchen. I heard every word and it was only more awkward for me that she began talking quietly instead of waiting to have the conversation when there weren't people to hear it. I guess it isn't actually the strangest, but it was the most awkward. I was sniffing on my sister-in-law's panties while fricking my girlfriend.
Hi there. Look, if you enjoyed the video, well, why not go ahead and hit that like and subscribe to Reddit Stories. In fact, if you want to see even more responses to this thread, well then, take a look. There's the link in the description below. And remember, show some love to those authors while you're there. And I look forward to seeing you next time.